the US-Pak relations were at its worst during the Trump administration. President Trump refused to continue the military assistance to Pakistan. In fact, Pakistan, right from its inception, has been part of the US-led military alliances. In fact, Pakistan created Taliban, but when US decided to wage a war on Taliban after the 9/11 attacks, Pakistan became its frontline ally. So the US-Pak military nexus is enduring. It is a long-standing military partnership. But however, during the Trump time, the US-Pak relations, especially in the field of defense, have hit its nadir. And the reason for that is Trump was very skeptical of supporting the Pakistan. In fact, he famously said, when we have poured in thousands of dollars into Islamabad kitty, what did US get in return was simply lies and deceit. This is what the President Trump said, and he discontinued the US military cooperation to Pakistan since 2018. But quite interestingly, Biden has reversed this policy, and he has now decided, much to the chagrin of India, much to the disenchantment of India, United States decided to modernize the Pakistan's notorious F-16 warplanes. In fact, the United States claims that it is modernizing the Pakistani Air Force critical component called F-16, essentially due for counterinsurgency. But it is a laughable stock. So the Pakistan is the global sponsor of terrorism. The breeding ground of international terrorism is Pakistan. It is in fact preposterous even to imagine that the United States is supplying F-16 modernization equipment for the Pakistan to fight insurgency. But the reality has always been Pak used these F-16 against India. Knowing fully well that Pakistan uses F-16 against India, United States decided to modernize the Pakistani F-16 program. The F-16 program, F-16 are the warplanes manufactured by the Lockheed Martin, an American company. India has already expressed its strong dissent. But the question comes is, why did America change its stand? Why was Trump so critical of Pakistan? Why did Trump refuse to extend military assistance to Pakistan, whereas the Biden has renewed the military cooperation? There seems to be three reasons. One reason cited by the US officials is, when India could take an independent and autonomous stand, why can't America? So if they were referring to the India's refusal to heed to the American demands on Russia. In fact, after Russia waged the war on Ukraine, America sponsored international sanctions against Russia. India not only refused to join the sanctions regime, but in fact it continued to buy oil from Russia. So United States, including President Biden, expressed this serious displeasure over India's continuing relations with Russia. But we can't avoid relations with Russia precisely because 70% of our defense imports are from Russia, defense supplies, and we continue to rely on Russia for our defense preparedness. Meanwhile, when the global oil prices surge, Russia was offering oil at discount, and India cannot give this away. In fact, even at the height of the war, Europe continued its energy imports from Russia. What kind of hypocrisy the West is displaying when it wants to buy the cheap, rely on Russia for energy supplies. They don't want India to rely on that. So India took an independent stand on Russia. Well, Americans were not pleased by India's autonomous stand. So the US defense experts argue, when India could take an independent stand in the US-Russian conflict, why can't America take an independent stand in the Indo-Pak conflict? Well, this argument seems to be right. But let me recall, in many a time, India has actually conceded to the American demands. The classic case is Iran. So when Trump administration imposed sanctions on Iran, and India has obliged to the United States and has brought down its oil import from Iran to zero. At the time, in fact, Iran accounted for 10% of India's oil imports, and oil imports from Iran were cheaper actually and more easier also because we were paying Iran in rupees. Despite all that advantages, India has brought down the oil import from Iran. We have slowed down our work at the Chabahar port and Jadhan rail route that connects Iran with the Central Asia. So therefore, it is not true that India has always taken an autonomous stand independent of American pressures. We have many a time agreed to American pressure. So I am not, the point I want to make is America on this pretext, on the pretext of India's independent stand on Russia, had decided to extend the military assistance to the Pakistan, much to the displeasure of India. Then there is a second reason. Recently, United States could find and hunt down Al-Jawhari, the chief of Al-Qaeda. So, Al-Qaeda chief Al-Jawhari was residing in a posh colony in Kabul. Well, it is impossible to even imagine that Al-Jawhari was residing in Afghan capital without the knowledge of Taliban regime or without the knowledge of Pakistan. So, how did United States get the exact information about the exact location of the hideout of Al-Jawhari? Well, it is believed that Pakistan gave this information to United States because the Afghan Home Minister Sirajuddin Haqqani is the head of the Haqqani network, which is very close to Pakistan. So therefore, it is believed that Pakistan not only provided information, intelligence about Al-Jawhari residing in Kabul, but it has actually facilitated this attack by providing its airspace to American drones. So, as a matter of gratitude for helping this, well, United States has not only extended the F-16 assistance, but has even agreed for an IMF loan. So, this Al-Jawhari, hunting down Al-Jawhari was very critical for Biden in person, not just for the American strategic interest, because after Trump has entered into an agreement with Taliban and Biden has implemented that agreement. In a very unceremonial, unabashed pullout, the Biden administration has ordered the withdrawal of the US troops, simply handing over Afghanistan to Taliban. So the 20-year American war in Afghanistan proved to be a futile exercise when Taliban recaptured Afghanistan. So the Biden's popularity ratings have fallen significantly after this Afghan fiasco. Similarly, Biden-led United States failed to prevent Russian military action on Ukraine. So at a time when Biden's popularity got a hit due to foreign policy reverses, he was very particular that he gets some or other benefit. So the hunting down of Al-Jawhari was personally an advantage for the Biden administration. So Pakistan facilitated it and in return got the F-16 assistance from the Biden-led United States. Then there is a third reason for that. During in the recent past, the Russia-China relationships are getting stronger and the China-Pakistan nexus is also getting stronger. Today, according to experts, the Chinese-made warplanes outnumber American-made F-16 in the Pakistan Air Force. Though the F-16 have a greater combat capacity compared to the Chinese planes, even these Chinese warplanes are manufactured in Pakistan. So the Americans are worried about the China-Pakistan nexus because China, Pakistan, Iran and Russia coming together along with the Turkey will pose a challenge to the United States. So therefore they want to de-link the Pakistan from China. So to reduce the Pakistan's reliance on China, the Biden administration decided to extend the F-16 to Pakistan. Well, notwithstanding these reasons, the US move is certainly a challenge to India's security interest at a time when India is becoming a natural ally of America, at a time when Indian and US military partnership has reached a mature levels. This unilateral move by the Biden administration to equip Pakistan with F-16, which were essentially used against India, is unbecoming of a true friend. So I am not defending the US stand, but I am only explaining the reasons why the Biden has reversed the long-held policy, why the Biden has reversed the policy stand taken by the Trump administration. But always remember, United States is a big businessman. It only negotiates according to its interest. There is nothing like any international norms, etc., etc. American foreign policy is defined by its national interest, and by the interest of the military industrial complexes that define the American economy in a very big way.